A deeper shade of red. Republicans celebrate a landslide victory on state and national levels. Good evening. Thanks for watching News Channel 9 at 5. I'm Calvin Sneed.
And I'm Kim Chapman. From governors to senators and congressmen and women, the GOP took home some of the most coveted races. And News Channel 9 is breaking down what this year's midterms mean for the state and the nation.
Now, Georgia is usually a politically red state, but yesterday it took on a different shade of red. The Republican Party won every single state constitutional office.
That's right. Today, News Channel 9's Micaiah Thurman is digging deeper to find out how that vote could impact the future of politics. Micaiah.
Kim, Calvin, Republicans dominated the midterm elections, but with the sweep, one local political expert says that there could be future backlash. Despite high hopes for Georgia Democrats with name recognition, Republican control of the Peach State remained rock solid. The GOP won every statewide office, including governor, lieutenant governor, state school superintendent, and attorney general.
We have equal representation of women in Congress.
Democrats Michelle Nunn and Jason Carter, whose campaign spent millions of dollars, each came no closer than 8 percentage points to their Republican opponents. Other state Democrats lost by even wider margins. The story was the same in Tennessee. Incumbent Republicans Bill Haslam and Lamar Alexander led their party by holding the governor's office and U.S. Senate seat.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Both enjoyed landslide wins. Haslam ran away with 70% of the vote.
Thank you all.
And Alexander swept 62%. Southeast Tennessee Republicans Scott DesJarlais and Chuck Fleischmann were both returned to Congress with easy wins. Chattanooga attorney Stuart James is the former Hamilton County Democratic Party chairman. Today, he says voters are making their point.
I think people are just generally dissatisfied. They don't like the direction of the country. And if you go back to when Bill Clinton was president, people did the same thing, and I think people like the idea of a split government, and they're going to give a split government a chance.
But even with the sweep, James says that the Republican Party should maintain a watchful eye.
The legislature has to watch out for backlash. They don't have a license just to do what they want to do, because what they need to do is they need to remember that only 40% of the people voted in this state, and there's 60% that aren't speaking out right now.
Coming up at 6, you'll hear more from Attorney James on how a one-party system could impact our local government. Calvin, back to you.
Thanks, Micaiah. After the Republican Party's sweep of the United States Senate, Senator Bob Corker will now serve as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He made the announcement to students at Walker Valley High School this morning. The senator was there to talk to the Key Club about leadership. He also told us why he's ready to take on the challenge of serving as committee chairman.
I think we've got an opportunity over the next 2 years to really begin solving our nation's biggest problems.
The senator's stop in Cleveland was one of 3 he made today. We'll have more on his visit coming up on News Channel 9 at 6.
It was an historic night for Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam. He set a new record with his re-election victory. Haslam secured the largest re-election percentage in modern Tennessee history. He had 70% of the vote, carrying all 95 counties. Governor Haslam says with his next 4-year term, he's going to focus on job creation, management of state government, and making sure students get a better education in Tennessee. Haslam was first elected in 2010 with the largest victory of any non-incumbent candidate.
Voter turnout this year was lower than the last midterm election 4 years ago. In Tennessee, 8 counties in our area were down, and only Hamilton and Grundy County had higher percentages than in 2010. Across the state, 629,485 people cast ballots. In 2010, that number was 736,885. In Georgia, only 49% of registered voters cast ballots.
The midterm elections drastically changed the political landscape. Now it's time for some in Washington to face new realities.
Foremost among them, the president. Here's ABC's Karen Travers on Capitol Hill.
President Obama did not sugarcoat it.
Obviously, Republicans had a good night, and they deserve credit for running good campaigns.
While Republicans declared a decisive, sweeping victory.
We won in red states, we won in blue states, and we won in purple states.
Republicans picked up 7 Senate seats last night, more than they needed to claim the majority. And that number could go up. There are still 3 races too close to call. Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell's now poised to be the new Senate Majority Leader. Today, he said he'll try to work with President Obama.
The American people have spoken. They've given us divided government. The question for both the president and for the speaker and myself and our members is, what are you going to do with it?
The Republican tidal wave didn't just sweep the Senate. The GOP held on to win key governors' races, even in typically Democratic strongholds like Maine, Massachusetts, and Maryland. And they expanded their majority in the House, giving them their biggest advantage there since Herbert Hoover was president. New Jersey Republican Governor Chris Christie aggressively campaigned for candidates across the nation.
The president took a beating last night.
But some analysts say Republicans shouldn't take last night's victories as a mandate.
It was a rejection of the president, and it was a rejection of the politics that's been practiced the last couple of years in Washington, D.C.
President Obama boiled down the agenda for his final 2 years to this: get stuff done. He says he'll do that through executive action if necessary, which he acknowledged Congress may not like. Karen Travers, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
For all of last night's election results, just go to our website, NewsChannel9.com.
And for all the unedited victory and concession speeches, look under the Raw News section.